This PSA was brought to you by the Peter G Show.
You may have second thoughts after the show.
Don't drink the faucet. We're really talented. We should get Oscars.
Just pick out a car, for Christ's sake.
No, my name is Peter. Yeah, I want. Here's good.
Yeah.
Madam Perry.
I need to get back in the genie bottle.
Louis from Pennsylvania, you're on. He likes it. It's showtime.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorce dad, single dad, divorce dad, single dad, Peter G Show.
Dun 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 dun. Peter G Show, right here Wednesday. Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on the Pacific Coast. It's 8 o'clock in the Central Time Zone and 9 o'clock on the East Coast. And we are here every Wednesday like clockwork, God willing, bringing you stuff you need to know. And maybe put a smile on your face, too. I look forward to it. Hope everybody's doing well. Big show tonight. Lots of great informative stuff I want to get to, but I do want to acknowledge the Gulf Coast getting ready to endure somewhat of a tropical storm / hurricane. Handle it. It's not your first rodeo. It sucks, but I know you can deal with it. You know what to do. It's a good thing about hurricanes as opposed to earthquakes. At least you know they're coming. You have a choice. It was only a couple of weeks ago. We had a little rumbler over here in Southern California. It wasn't very long, but the problem is you don't know what's going to happen. How big? How long is it going to go for? What the damage is going to be? Is it going to just knock the bottle of shampoo off the bathtub, or is it going to knock things to the ground, make things crumble? You just don't know. Don't dig it. Don't like it at all. But this is life. Life's full of surprises. You know, we have great weather over here, but the pros and cons. Same thing with the Gulf Coast. Pros and cons. But for the majority of it, at least you know it's coming. So prayers with you. Handle it. You got this. All right. Hope everybody's doing well. I do. I appreciate you tuning in. Tonight, we're going to talk about our presidential candidates because there's a lot of people that, you know, you think you know who you got. I get it. And this goes for both sides, okay? I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm not. But I am going to show you things on what, you know, the reality is. And I do not trust the media. I'm sorry. I don't. And I take things with a grain of salt. I look and see what they have to say, and then I go figure it out for myself. I'm not 100% right on things, but I'm pretty much more on the money than a lot of people because I do not believe what they, you know, feed me. And I question everything nowadays, even doctors. And I went to the doctor not too long ago. It's like I still always try and do my own homework because things are not as they used to be. But either way, it's going to be a great show. And it's going to be full of stuff that I think that regardless of how you feel about me, about what I bring you, you know, I realize you can't please everybody. I'm not going to. And some people are going to get downright ticked off and, oh, that Peter. But I'm not making it. I'm going to show you a lot of videos and things. I'm not making this stuff up. I'm just bringing it to your attention. Then you decide. Again, I promise you that no matter what I show you, even if it's true to the bone, for those who don't want to believe, you're going to go, yeah, but still. Okay. Either way, I appreciate you watching. Speaking of watching, please, please, please support. Share the shows. Sharing is a big deal. Subscribing is a big deal because YouTube throttles me back. I don't understand how you put out a video and you get 3 people view, supposedly 3 people, and then you put out another one, there's thousands. They're messing with me. They will continue to mess with me, and that's just the way it is. So we have to beat them at their own game. Just go to petergshow.com. It takes you straight to like YouTube. Just hit subscribe. It's free. It'll notify you every time there's a show, and you can see all the shows. There's over 400 of them in chronological order, pretty much. It's 2 sections. The live section when I have live shows, and then there's video from the pre-records that we do. So you got a lot to choose from. And now I think there's some of the shorts and things like that too. They're allowing that on there. But, the YouTube thing, only because I want to beat them at their own game. I mean, we're on many other platforms, my Facebook people, which I love dearly, which is my biggest crowd. Facebook surprisingly doesn't mess with me all that much, but they do mess with me, okay? So keep following, hit follow, go to all these places. Go to all these places and just help. You know? Oh, look, a long-time listener. Gene. It's Gene. Hey, Gene. Glad you can make it tonight. I got a lot of informative stuff. I hope you stick around. Probably going to be a long show. Lately, my shows have gone long because I have a lot to put out for you, for your benefit, not for mine. I already know this stuff, but I feel it's my duty. And again, at the end of the day, you decide. I don't love or not love you any more or less. We all get to make choices in life, but I am going to bring it to your attention. That is faux show. But please subscribe, and I'm glad that you take the time to watch the show. But for those of you that are busy, you're in the car, you're at the gym, you're at work. Work is boring. We know that. It's boring. Put an earbud in your ear, Google Peter G Show podcast. You can get the audio version of all these shows. I love when you watch the video, but the audio version is the next best thing to be in there. And again, it's all free. It's at your fingertips. You can turn it on, turn it off whenever you want. A lot of people I know, they go, Peter, I like watching your show when it's live. I missed your show last week. And you know who you are, you people. Because I've had conversations with these people. And you have those, if you can tune in, you tune in. Right, Lonnie? You tune in. But some people say, Peter, God, I missed your show last week. I go, well, dude, it's on demand. You can go watch it. And it's like, yeah, I know. But, I like watching it live. I get it, but you just missed a really good show. So find a time when you're driving or when you're working, like I said, and pick up the show. There's tons of them. But I'm just putting it out there, all right? All right, so that's where we're at with all this. Thank you, Thomas. Look at this. We got Thomas says, thanks for all that you do for us. Do I? Sometimes I wonder, but thank you. Again, please share. That's the best thing you can do for me if you appreciate what I do, is just put it out there, make sure you're following and subscribing, and pass the word. I need the people because they throttle me back. The algorithms are all screwed up, but thank you, Thomas. That was nice. It's nice to hear from people. I'm all about the people. I am. If you've known me growing up, it's like I've been around people my whole life, whether playing music or whatever. It was all about happiness. And if you know me, you know that happiness goes a long way. Yeah, I bitch and complain about stuff, but I am truly grateful. I do a lot of it just to get the point across. And life is a bumpy road. It just is. For me too. But we're all here. So I'm very, very grateful. And I hope you are too. It's important. But anyway, all right, listen, we're going to get to it because we got a lot of stuff to get to tonight. And I hope you stick around and watch all this stuff because we are going to do tonight pros and cons of Trump, pros and cons of Kamala Harris. Okay, I'm going to show you things and then you decide. But I just want to put this stuff out there because I do realize, because I'm a people person, I talk to a lot of people. There's a lot of people besides who are just blind and brainwashed, but there's a lot of people that are just no clue. They don't pay attention. They don't follow, and they don't really know what's going on, but they're willing to listen. So that's a big deal to me. All right. But anyway, we're going to get to that in just a couple of minutes. But first, as always, I want to hear from my good friends over at Clean Star Products with their money-saving fuel additive DX1 drivers. I'll be right back.
Let us help you with the high price of fuel. Hello, I'm Ty Thompson at CleanStarProducts.com. We can optimize your engine, saving you money in gas. Here's how. Our program works the same with gasoline and diesel engines. Whether you're using a car pack or SUV pack, the instructions are the same. add 1 bottle to your engine oil, and each time you change your oil, add 1 bottle to the fuel tank each and every fuel fill-up. It's that easy. You get 10% fuel economy on average, lower emissions, and increased horsepower. DX1 sells for $2 an ounce, so for just a few dollars a fuel tank, you can optimize your engine, saving you money and gas. Come on, give it a try. It's the finest green-grade oil in the world from a California environmental company. You're going to feel it when you drive. Order online today. We'll get it out right away. CleanStarProducts.com/shop.
That's right, folks. Clean Star product with their DX1 driver fuel additive. 2 words. It works. It does work. I use it myself. It works. You know, there are things in this world that do good, and this is one of them. But don't believe me. You got questions? Here's what I want you to do. Go to their website, www.cleanstarproducts, all right? But wait, there's more. There's a phone number on their website. You are going to call Tyrone Thompson. Ty, that's what we say because we're friends. Ty, hey, Ty. Call him. He's going to speak to you personally because he's a very passionate guy. He believes in what he's got and what he does, and so do I. He will answer all your questions. I'm sure you're going to have questions because, you know, it's like, hey, come on, really? What's it going to do? A better running car makes your car last longer. It's going to save you money in fuel. You're going to get better gas mileage. It keeps your engine cleaner. It's just like eating healthy. That's what your car is going to do. He'll answer all your questions. Don't, like I said, don't leave it to me. Leave it to the pros. Go call Ty. And after he answers your questions, should you decide to order, because you called him, you say, hey, I saw this on the Peter G show. And then Ty is going to send you 5 bottles for the price of 4. Just for calling him, asking him the questions, and ordering. He's going to give you an extra bottle. That's 5 bottles for the price of 4. And a deal's a deal. But you got to say you saw it on the Peter G show, all right? Help a brother out. Give him a call. Promise you, if you got a car that's, you know, that needs to be running good and you want it to get better gas mileage and things like that, it's a good thing to make it run cleaner, you know, more lubricity. It just makes sense to save money on top of it. Plus, cars are expensive. All right, gas is coming down a little bit because it's the election in a month, but, you know, we don't know where it's going, and it's still too expensive. It's not like it was 4 years or 5 years ago. Never mind 4 years. 4 years ago, we were a mess. Okay? Make it work. That's what I got to say about that. Next, let's do this. Hang on. There you go, Lonnie. Woo! Smooth. Kill me. All right. So I have information / videos to play for you tonight about each of the candidates for president. And I didn't know. I'm thinking, should I do Kamala's first, you know, ladies first, or do I do Trump's first? I'm telling you, you need to stick around for all of them because they all have their beneficial points that you need to pay attention. They really do. They really do. And for those of you who are sold on whoever, I still say you need to watch this stuff because knowledge is power. It's just that simple. I'm not making this stuff up. I go and I work pretty hard. We dig up this stuff. I could do hours upon hours on each certain topic. There's that much information out there, which most of you just won't check out. You're busy with your lives and you just go by whatever the media feeds you, which is the biggest mistake, unfortunately. But I don't expect you to understand that because if you don't realize that the media is now a hired advertising machine, I don't know what to tell you. But pay attention to me. If you're tuned in, you might as well watch, right? I mean, I'm here. I'm watching. I'm going to stick around. I'm telling you, it's going to get good. So anyway, so I didn't know who to go first, and I flipped a coin, and Trump won. So we're gonna do some Trump pros and cons first, and but the first thing I want to do is I want to talk about. I found a video that talks about democracy because that word has gone so viral these past year. They're taking our democracy away. We're fighting for our democracy. I think I'm willing to bet that majority of the population doesn't understand what the word democracy means. I mean, most people think it means freedom, our freedom, and things like that. And in a way, it kind of does partially. But democracy does not mean our freedom. Democracy is about grouping everybody in equality and things like that. It's a different meaning, but they make it feel like they're taking away your democracy. It's like, I found a video that is going to explain it to the T, and it's an old video from probably the 60s. But you need to pay attention to it because there's a difference between the word democracy and republic. And it's not me saying this. This is a really well put together, well explained, I think, and that's why I wanted to start with it, because I truly believe that that this is where we're going to begin by explaining this. And again, people, if you don't really grasp it, after the show's over, you can pull up the video, the show, and watch any of these videos anytime you want. They're going to be on the show because they're part of the show. But I want you to check out this explanation of constitutional republic versus democracy, so you can understand the difference, because I think they have used this word and really misled you with the true meaning of it. It's that important. It's that important. All right? So here you go. Check it out. You're welcome.
A democracy is a political system in which the people periodically, by majority vote at the polls, select their rulers. The rulers then have absolute power to make whatever laws they please by majority vote among themselves. In a constitutional republic, the people also, by majority vote at the polls, select rulers who make laws by majority vote among themselves. But the rulers cannot make any laws they please because the Constitution severely restricts their lawmaking power. The ideal of a democracy is universal equality. The ideal of a constitutional republic is individual liberty. In this century, great strides have been made toward the goal of subverting our republic and transforming it into a democracy. The foremost tactic of the subverters is subversion of language. By calling America a democracy until people thoughtlessly accept and use the term, totalitarians have obscured the real meaning of American principles of government. The writers of the Constitution were anxious to safeguard liberty against dictatorship, monarchy they called it. But their chief anxiety was to protect the country against democracy. Edmund Randolph, delegate to the Constitutional Convention from Virginia, said the general object of the convention was to provide a cure for the follies and fury of democracy. Elbridge Gerry and Roger Sherman, delegates from Massachusetts and Connecticut, urged the Constitutional Convention to create a system to eliminate the evils that flow from the excess of democracy. Alexander Hamilton, delegate from New York, said, "We are now forming a Republican government. Real liberty is not found in democracy. If we incline too much to democracy, we shall soon shoot into a monarchy." John Adams, one of the giants of the American Revolutionary period, said, "Democracy will envy all, contend with all, endeavor to pull down all. And when by chance it happens to get the upper hand for a short time, democracy will be revengeful, bloody, and cruel." America was founded not as a democracy, but as a constitutional republic. We pledge allegiance to the republic, for which our flag stands, not to a democracy. The Constitution requires a republican form of government for all states, but does not mention democracy, and neither does the Declaration of Independence or the Bill of Rights. Someone asked him what kind of government the convention had given America, and Franklin replied, "A republic, if you can keep it." Very old and very wise, Franklin saw through the mists of time to the day when Americans might trade their freedom in a constitutional republic for the promise of government guaranteed equality and security in a democracy. And beyond that, to the day when democracy inevitably degenerates into dictatorship, guaranteeing nothing but poverty and serfdom for the people it robs and rules.
It's a little bit different of an explanation than probably what you thought in your head. I'm willing to bet. Because even myself didn't realize the extent of how democracy really isn't all about your freedom. It's a part of your freedom, but it's not all about your freedom. Liberty and justice for all is about your freedom. The Pledge of Allegiance to the Republic not to the democracy for which it stands. So I hope that helps. You know, maybe you got to watch it again, take it in a couple of times. Believe me, I did. You know, you just because you're on this earth for all these years, you can't know everything. But I'm here to bring a few things that hopefully you said, wow, okay, a little bit different than what I thought it really meant. Because that's important, because they use that word to death right now. They are pounding that word into the ground. They're coming for your democracy. it's come on. Yeah, I got your democracy. Here's I'm sure you're all familiar with Robert Kennedy Jr. He's talking about, you know, he's been around a long time. His father was assassinated. Okay, he's been around. He knows a lot of secrets. He knows the good people and the bad people. He's been in the business. He grew up in the business. He was a little boy when his father was killed, sadly, and his uncle, John Kennedy, who was our president. And he knows a lot of things, and he talks about quite a few things here about what's going on in our government. And you know what? Some people may say, oh, he's crazy as a loon and stuff. Yeah, I take everything, again, I take everything with a grain of salt, but he makes a pretty good point here, and I want you to watch this. So here, you check this out, and we'll go from there. Check this out. Robert Kennedy Jr.
Everyone has heard President Trump's signature phrase,
Drain the swamp in Washington, D.C.
His instinct is spot on. The problem is that in Washington, it's not just about a few corrupt individuals. It's a whole crooked system. It's the federal agencies, it's the lobbyists, it's the think tanks and research organizations, it's the university and the academic groups and the media. And it's the corporations that have captured these agencies and turned them into sock puppets for the industries they're supposed to regulate. Well, I've spent 40 years suing almost all of these agencies and many of the industries, and I know the names in many of these agencies of the bad actors who need to be moved out. I understand the perverse incentives that put agency capture on steroids. I know how this system is supposed to work to protect the public interest and how it actually works to protect the mercantile interests of the regulated industries that have captured it. And I know how to fix it. When you sue an agency, you get a PhD in corporate capture and how to unravel it. And that's exactly what I'm going to do with Donald Trump's backing. Let me tell you what we're going to do. We're going to appoint honest officials who don't have conflicts of interest. We're going to listen to whistleblowers and act on their revelations. We're going to slam shut the revolving door that sends industry executives and lobbyists in and out of government. We're going to fire anyone who betrays the public trust or lies to the public. And we're going to prohibit federal agencies from using their powers to harass political opponents. That's what it means to drain the swamp. One of my priorities in Washington will be to make sure that President Trump can follow through on his promise and return us to a government of the people and to make America healthy again.
You know what? Can I tell you something? Ooh. I believe him. I believe him because he's been an advocate of all this stuff for years. And I just think that the timing is right. It's time to get rid of all the good old boys. They've had it so good. All our people that work for us have been lining their pockets and not helping you, me, we the people. I mean, sure, we're all getting by, but it's just a club. They're killing it financially. All the money that's going to taxes and that, and they're getting, again, they're all lining their pockets and they want to clean them out. Time to start afresh. I don't hear the other side saying anything about this. They don't. They just say that we're going to make things better. How? There's where you got to start. And that's the problem, because when the Orange Man came into office back in 2016, 17, they all knew that their asses are on the line. And so they fought him tooth and nail the whole time. And I don't care if you don't like him. I don't care if you don't like his attitude. He meant business. And he fought tooth and nail, and he had to learn the hard way. He didn't know everything in Washington. But the key is, he does now. He's been through the gamut. They've run him through the ringer. This time, he knows exactly how to get to work and get it done even more. And he did a lot fighting tooth and nail. Now he's got backup. He's got people. And I believe they're going to do this. I think his name, he wants to go down in history as changing things, making everything better. That he wants to leave a legacy, and I believe him. And if you don't, okay, great. But I'm not a hater. I just don't see anything happening from the other side. Again, just my humble opinion. You can tell me I'm crazy or whatever. You can vote any way you want to vote. I'm just telling you that I believe what Robert Kennedy Jr. is saying. And I think that they are going to go after it because they're after all these people. They're going to oust them, start fresh. Sometimes you have to. It's about that time. It's been 240 something years. Time to, renovate. But, what do I know? That's why I'm letting them do the talking. This is a video I wanted to show you. This is a video of Donald Trump. It's a short video of Donald Trump when he was 32 years old. Somebody asked him about being president. And it's crazy because, well, I'll let you hear it. But this is Donald Trump when he was 32 years old. Check it out.
I'm not telling you who to vote for, but I am telling you that you need to watch what Donald Trump had to say about being president when he was just 32 years old. It's insane. Watch this.
Why wouldn't someone like yourself run for political office? You have all the money that you possibly need. You've accomplished a great deal, even though you are only 34. I know there's a lot of things that you possibly can do in the years ahead. Why wouldn't you dedicate yourself to public service?
Because I think it's a very mean life. I would love and I would dedicate my life to this country, but I see it as being a mean life. And I also see it that somebody with strong views and somebody with the kind of views that are maybe a little bit unpopular, which may be right, but may be unpopular, wouldn't necessarily have a chance of getting elected against somebody with no great brain but a big smile. And that's a sad commentary for the political process. People say, well, what could anybody do as president? The one man could turn this country around. The one proper president could turn this country around. I firmly believe that.
So do I. It was almost done. But isn't it ironic? He was 32 years old, and what he says then holds up now. It is a rotten business. Politics sucks. I hate politicians. I don't know where they came up with that whole idea and to call these people politicians and politics. But it sucks. And they've lost their way. They've lost their way. They're supposed to be working for us. They're working for them and just making sure that we still hang in there. Say one thing, do another. It's all lies. Being a politician means you can just lie straight to somebody's face and feel good about it. And I hate it. I hate it. But that was the Orange Man at 32 years old, and I think that it still holds. I get really tired of the hearsay, the nonsense. They have thrown everything they can. You're going to want to watch this next video because they have, again, I'm not voting for a felon. It's like all these charges that are just the most ridiculous from 40 years ago. They didn't go after him 40 years ago, but all of a sudden, because he's running, they came up with all this nonsense and made up new laws and bent the rules. That's how desperate they are. But I get a lot of them, especially from this one guy, and he hit me up last week, and he posts on my page all the time that Trump was on Epstein's island, and he flew on the plane 1 million times, and they raped a 13-year-old in 1994 together. It's like, you got to be drinking some serious Kool-Aid. You can't be that gullible. The point is, everybody knows everybody when you're at that status. It's just kind of like, your neighborhood, a certain group level. But let's do this video first, and then I'll go some more, because it's just, again, you could take pictures with somebody, you could shake hands with somebody, you can say hello, and you can even hang out for a bit with somebody, but that doesn't mean you're associated with somebody. It's just the way it is. Happens in the business all the time. But check this out. This is the Orange Man talking about old Epstein and his island and all that.
Here's Donald Trump with Friedman yesterday on the Epstein client list. This is really important, so much so we open in the segment with it on the second segment of the show. Check this out.
But a lot of big people went to that island. But fortunately, I was not one of them.
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be, by the way. Probably.
So if you're able to, you'll be...
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. Now, Kennedy's interesting because it's so many years ago. You know, they do that for danger, too, because, you know, it endangers certain people, et cetera, et cetera. So Kennedy is very different from the Epstein thing. But yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
Good. Folks, you're going to see a lot of names on that. The Epstein client list, I believe, based on what I've heard from sources and the story I just told you, basically, is going to rock the political world. There's a reason they're hiding it.
Oh, I'm sure there's a reason they're hiding it. But the bottom line is Trump was never there. And I'm, you know, and this is just one of the many, the baloney stories. This is where this guy is like, you know, he's out there every day. It's like, you got nothing on me. You can accuse me of everything, but you got nothing. He's never been accused. Even the January 6th, he's not been lawfully, he's been accused of it, but he hasn't been convicted of anything because they can't. But you want to believe so bad because you hate him. And I don't blame you either. They have drilled it into your head that he's a bad man. He's a bad man. Okay, you know what? In the 70s now, when he's building, I mean, there's some contractors go, yeah, he never paid those contractors. Like, you know, there's all kinds of business deals. Who knows what the details were when you're building skyscrapers and doing all kinds. Business is a bitch. It is. Somebody's not going to be happy about something. Okay? I'm sure he's gotten burned many times too. But we're talking, it is now 2024. And he's come a long way, baby. And again, actions speak louder than words. He's all over the place. Talking, meeting, doing. You don't like him? You don't like him. There's some people, it's like, I'm not here to convince you. And a lot of people, there's no way I'm going to convince you. You'll go down with the ship. Even if he, you know, miraculously, you know, makes Jesus arrive, you'll say, yeah, but still. I'm just pointing these things out, that we have a big mess, and you have to be pretty ballsy to take the ropes and say, I can do this. And he's telling you, I can do this. And I believe him too. And I think he will. Especially with the help of some other people. Because he's hell-bent to prove to you that he's going to make a difference. And not, again, they said it when I played you that video when he was 32 years old. He's got all the money in the world he needs. He could just sit back and not give a damn about anything. If the United States burns to the ground, he can go buy his own island. He can go do whatever he wants and not care about us. But what is he doing? He's fighting for us, whether you think so or not, because there's other entities that don't want us to have it so well. They want this country to go to shit. And it's pretty much on its way. It's on its way. We're at a certain point that a little bit more, and there'll be a point of no return. It's still savable, but it's going to take a lot. He knows it. And he's still saying, I can do this. There's no iffy words. There's no, you know, roundabout explanation. He flat out tells you. The one thing about him, whether you like him or not, you know what you got. And I kind of respect that in a lot of ways. There's no hidden surprises. But again, you decide. I'm just bringing you pros and cons of both sides, and you can just figure it out for yourself. I hope before it's not too late, all right? But again, this thing, because last week I had this guy blow up on me and, you know, telling me about, you know, Trump's been on Epstein's plane and island, and like, all right, I'm tired. But again, I forgot to show you. I'll show you again real quick. Pictures, just because you're in a picture with somebody, when you're a celebrity, you take pictures with everybody. Think about it. If you go to concerts and stuff like that, don't you want to have your picture taken with Steven Tyler or whoever? and they take a million pictures and they put their arm around you. And a lot of people, if you're in the same, and you're just a fan, but if you're in the same circles with people, it's like, hey, let's take a picture. I know. Thank God most of the stuff in the 80s, they didn't have cell phones for me. I mean, we did a lot of crazy stuff, but we didn't hurt nobody. The thing is, this is what you do. When, if you know, back in my Hollywood days, it was like, hey, there's a big party going up at the top of Mulholland at so-and-so's. Something straight out of a movie. As you come walking up, because the cars are parked all down the street, people are rolling in and out of this place. It's dimly lit, and you hear all kinds of different accents as you're walking through, 12-foot wide hallways at this giant house. And it's just the way it is. It's a different way of life. And all these people, when you at that status, everybody goes to everybody's stuff, and some people will figure it out, go, no, I'm not going there anymore. And even, look, the Playboy Mansion, all right? How many parties have happened at the Playboy Mansion? How many? You heard all these things about the grotto, they used to have all these parties, and then there's parties, and then there's the party within the party. And not everybody goes to those parties. But there's a lot of people there, and things happen and things are going on. There's some wild stuff, but at the end of the day, nobody's, getting hurt. But then there's the after party, and that's when maybe more sex was going on and all those stories, the rumors that you hear and all that. But you went to the party anyway, and you may have passed what's his face and taken a picture with him. With the Playboy bunnies and this and that. You take pictures with them, but that doesn't mean anything. That's what they do. It's all everybody, Hugh Hefner, Hef, his smoking jacket. But that's what happens. That doesn't mean you're associated with everything that goes on that night or any night that you've made an appearance, because they were great parties. Why would you not want to go to a great party, especially when you're younger and stuff? You got time. If you're in town, it's the way to go. Hey, party at the Playboy Mansion. I got invites. You want to go? It's like, don't have to ask me twice. But that's the way it is. But again, with all this, here's pictures. Here's what do we got here? Who's this? Who's in this one? Oh, this is Trump. The orange man. He's in pictures with Diddy. Okay? Because they're probably at events together. When you're at that status, you all go to all kinds of high-level events. Look at that. It's multiple pictures. I mean, believe it or not, the orange man was in the entertainment industry. He had The Apprentice, the show. So you go to all these things. It's part of the gig. But there he is. Doesn't mean anything. Just take pictures with everybody. You can't even imagine the thousands of people he's taken pictures with. He takes pictures with everybody every single day, wherever he's at. If he walks into that grocery store that he did yesterday, was it yesterday, and paid $100 worth of somebody's bills or something like that, I promise you, he took pictures with somebody or multiples. Combine that times your whole friggin' life. Everybody wants a picture with a star or a celebrity or a president. It's just the way it is. Okay? But here's our candidate for president. She's right there. A younger version, but still. Did she do anything? She part of that whole thing? Who knows? Who knows? Because Diddy's getting ready to sing again. Except this time it's going to be a different song. But there it is. There's a picture. So are we to assume she was part of those, what was it called? Something off? Whack off? Freak offs. Yeah. Was she at those freak offs? And if she was, did she stay late enough to be a part of the freak offs? Or did they leave? Or was that picture taken at some hotel ballroom? The point is, everybody takes pictures with everybody, just the way it is. At the time, especially back in the day, it's Diddy. The guy was a star. Plus, he had his own clothing line. And, everybody was just the way it is, okay? But, and again, and here's the number one culprit, in my eyes, Old Oprah. You know, you couldn't be much bigger than her. But there she is, kissing Harry Weinstein. There's a picture of her and Diddy. Bill Cosby. Come on. She knew everybody. She was top of the heap. You could not have a bigger career than Oprah. Is she guilty of this stuff? I think she's behind a lot of stuff, and it's all going to come out eventually. But the thing is, I'm not going to say one way or another. I have my thoughts. But she's, you know, it's just the way it is. Just the way it is. We all have our thoughts. And if somebody's done something wrong, eventually it's going to come out. But she's in a million pictures. Okay? Look at that. Weinstein, I mean, he already went down. But there's a lot of people, when Diddy starts, you know, something's going to happen. We'll find out. All I'm saying is you're not always guilty by association, but there are going to be some. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. But everybody takes pictures with everybody. Still to this day. I take a lot of pictures. Sometimes there was a point where I just didn't. There was a void in my life where and now I wish I had the pictures. But, you know, especially now we got cell phones. You can do a selfie. It's just the way it is, okay? So just saying that before you start throwing around accusations, it's so easy to start rumors. It's so easy. And this whole, you know, again, with all the charges with Trump and you know, now our federal government, you know, again, why would you not believe the FBI and the DOJ and all that? They're supposed to be legit, right? We're going to find out down the road, people. I think there's a lot of crooked stuff going on because they don't want their game ruined. And we'll find out. But anyway, that was that. So I just thought I'd bring that to your attention. And where are we? Oh, yeah. So the whole Epstein Island thing. I want to talk to you, George Carlin. I never really, I mean, even though I've been to a George Carlin comedy show, I'd never realized how much of a genius that guy was. As much as I was entertained by him, I take what he says because now there's, you know, tons of clips out there that, you know, are put out by somebody of George Carlin, you know, talking about what he talked about. The stuff that rolls off his head. He's like a machine gun full of facts, truth, that it's like WTF moments, and but so spot on. And I didn't realize that when I was in my mid to late 20s when I saw him. I was just being entertained, and the world it wasn't as deep to me then. We were just rolling through life. But listen to George Carlin about, of all things, assassination, okay? Because he makes a lot of sense and on everything. The more I watch him now, I truly, if I see a clip of his, I'll always watch it because he makes so much sense. And it's like F you to, you know, the establishment, because he was spot on. Check this out.
Assassination. You know what's interesting about assassination? Well, not only does it change those popularity polls in a big fucking hurry, but it's also interesting to notice who it is we assassinate. Do you ever notice who it is? Stop to think of who it is we kill. It's always people who've told us to live together in harmony and try to love one another. Jesus, Gandhi, Lincoln, John Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, John Lennon. They all said, try to live together peacefully. Bam! Right in the fucking head. Apparently, we're not ready for that. Yeah, that's difficult behavior for us.
Bam. You decide. You decide. But he didn't make that stuff up either. Again, the truth is real. It just sometimes has to be brought to your attention. Check out this dude about conspiracies and BlackRock and all these things that is one reason why they go after the orange man again. So check this one out. It's real quick.
So you think the former president's a bad person, yet all you have is CNN, MSNBC, and ABC talking points. You must ask yourself why the two men that attempted to end the life of our former president are connected to BlackRock. Now, I'm not insinuating that BlackRock is connected. I'm telling you they are. BlackRock and Vanguard have their pockets in every industry in the world, not just the United States. And with our former president's America First platform and the promise to end all wars, they stand to lose billions, if not trillions, of dollars. Now, if you're part of the Orange Man Bad crowd, I implore you to stitch this with audio and visual proof of the things said against him. I implore you to show it coming out of his mouth, not a CNN, MSNBC, or ABC news clipping. The United States is the last defense for all world tyranny, and you're falling right into the trap.
Just a little more information your way, because this is true. Any of you, now again, this is deeper stuff because most people don't understand BlackRock and Vanguards and all these investment. They're making all the money. They're buying up all these houses that people are losing because they can't afford to keep them anymore. They're going to turn them all into rentals, and then they're just going to box out everybody from being able to own a home. And everybody is going to rent. You'll own nothing. You'll eat bugs and you'll like it. That kind of thing. Telling you what to do, when to do it. If you don't do it, we'll cut off your electronic payments. All whatever. We monitor your electric car. We'll shut off your electric car. Don't think so? Keep not paying attention. Go the wrong direction. You'll see. Here's my final Trump comparison, or the Orange Man comparison, about his policies. I think he's very to the point, as opposed to the other side that is vague as hell and just wanting you to believe in the joy. We're going to make you happy. Can't tell you how we're going to do it, but we're going to make you happy. But we're going to do it, said someone. Check this out. A little bit lengthy, but spot on again. At least you'll have a clear view of what's going on. All right, here you go.
I don't know how Trump did it, but he managed to get Under the Desk News to do a campaign ad for him. And I gotta say, V crushed it. Check it out.
Here are the first 15 promises he has made if he is reelected. First, he promises that he will carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in history.
Well, the current record holder is Obama, but I got faith Trump can outdo him.
He will also ask for the death sentence for anyone convicted of human trafficking.
If you're a person who opposes that, go ahead and speak up. We'd love to know more about you.
He will close the Department of Education and return all education standards to the states to decide.
You know what also returns to the states when they eliminate the federal Department of Education? $84 billion per year. That's what we're spending to have a national Department of Education that doesn't do a fucking thing. Yeah, if you're opposed to the school systems having an additional $84 billion every year, go ahead and speak up on that one.
He will put prayer back into school.
No, he won't. No, what that means is he will allow people to pray in school. There has never been and never will be forced prayer in public school. He's just saying you should be allowed to if you want to.
He will criminalize any race-based advantage programs.
Good. Any program based on race is inherently racist. Nobody should have an advantage because of the color of their skin.
He will end the Affordable Care Act.
Good, that thing's been a fucking disaster. That program helped nobody. It's made shit far more expensive.
He will ban gender-affirming care for adults and children, and he will ban any federal dollars from going towards gender-affirming care.
Thank God. These people will finally be able to focus on getting the mental health care they deserve.
Which means anyone with government-provided health care will no longer be able to access gender-affirming care except for Viagra and Cialis.
Since when did Viagra and Cialis become part of gender-affirming care? What the fuck is gender-affirming about Viagra and Cialis? Were you just throwing that in there to try to talk shit? Sorry, but there's nothing gender-affirming about boner pills.
He will propose a constitutional amendment that gives a term limit to Congress.
Oh, you mean that thing more than 90% of Americans support? That constitutional amendment will pass faster than any amendment in history.
He will deploy the Department of Justice to investigate the Biden crime family and any of his adversaries or political rivals.
Oh, V, do we not know how quotes work? Because yes, he did say he was going to deploy the Department of Justice to investigate the Biden crime family. So the quotes were correct there. But the political rivals and adversaries part? Yeah, you don't need to quote that because you made that up.
He will immediately pardon all of the January 6thers.
Good, because the prison term given to those people was fucking ridiculous.
He will increase the penalties for underage criminal offenders.
I could go either way on that one, but I'm not really opposed to it.
Strengthen immunity for police officers.
Well, since they protect us, our government should be protecting them.
And deploy the National Guard to patrol woke cities.
Again, V, with the fucking quote bullshit, not his fault that the woke cities are where all the fucking crime is. If you have a problem with a city deploying the National Guard, take that shit up with Kathy Hochul, who's a Democrat, by the way.
On day one, he will reassess our participation in NATO.
Good, because this is the current breakdown in spending. Annual budget for NATO is 1.3 trillion, of which we pay 860 billion. Yeah, fuck these countries. We don't need to be paying for their defense.
He will also restore the wonderful travel ban for Muslims coming to America.
Oh my God, you're still trying to refer to that as the Muslim ban? Because what it really is a ban on travel to America from any country who does not do criminal background checks before issuing a passport. It's a ban on allowing criminals to fly to the U.S. Their religion doesn't fucking matter.
Will remove all of the limits on American natural gas exports and drill baby drill for oil domestically.
You recognize Biden's already doing that over the last 6 months, right? That's why gas prices came down for a little bit? Because Biden allowed for more drilling and more extraction of oil than at any point in our history. And yes, being energy independent would be fucking wonderful.
He will impose a tariff of up to 60% on Chinese imports.
Well, good. Our tariffs on Chinese products will finally match up with what the Chinese tariff us for. But you probably didn't know that because you didn't do any research before trying to talk shit.
He will extend the 2017 tax cuts and drop the corporate tax rate from 21% to 15%.
Sweet, because the 2017 tax cuts were fucking awesome. And if you don't believe that, pause to read. And as far as dropping the corporate tax rate from 21 to 15, good, that'll be an extra 6% they can reinvest in their business. Which, if you're unaware, usually means hiring more people.
He will push Congress to pass legislation that would give every American the right to concealed carry anywhere at any time. And he will revoke any gun restrictions or legislation that seeks to inhibit people's ability to own guns that's been passed in the last several years.
Oh, goody. We'll finally get back to being a fuck around and find out type of country.
He will demand that Europe pay back all the money we gave Ukraine, and then he will use all of that money to recruit for the American military.
Well, Europe's not going to do that, but I like the idea.
We'll take billions and billions of dollars from private university endowments by taxing, fining, and suing the universities.
I fucking love that idea.
And then he will use that money to create the American Academy, a free online college.
Oh no, actual free college. How terrible.
So that's Agenda 47.
And it's fucking awesome.
I like it. See, it's Agenda 47, not 2025 or Project 2025 that they've brainwashed you in looking at the, what's it called? The Harris Foundation? Their bullshit. Yeah, maybe there's a couple of little similarities in there, but it's 400 pages. So there might be something kind of close, but it might be something kind of reasonable. And it's not nothing with all the crap. All they do is pull out the crap and try to shove it down your throat and say, he's evil, bad man, bad man. Got nothing to do with him. But you believe it because that's what they're doing, because they're scared shitless that you're going to start understanding right from wrong. But that's your choice. Again, I'm just bringing it out. So we're done with him. Page 2. We're going to do some Kamala videos now. You decide. Let's see what we got here. Let's take a little... What does Steve say? Let's see what we got here. Steven says, I like it too. Yes. And I'm not here to agree with, we all pat each other on the back. It's just common sense, right? Thanks for liking it too. Manly, yes, but I like it too. Oh, damn. All right, let's do this. I'm on a roll. Let's talk about now we're going to feature some of Kamala Harris's videos and what she's got to say. And again, I'm not trying to be negative. These are facts. These are out of their own mouths. So that's why I'm saying don't get mad at me for pointing out the truth to you, for those who may disagree. But again, just putting it out there. Here's one, a little ditty, and this is all recent stuff, okay? So check this out.
And we are not not going back. America is ready for a new way forward. We are not going back. We together will chart a new way forward. We're not going back. Together we'll move forward.
We're not going back. Forward together. Folks, this has literally been the slogan of the Communist Party for the past 10 years. I'm not even joking. If you go to the Communist Party USA's website, 3 years ago, Communist co-chair Rosanna Cambron literally wrote an article titled, "We're not going back, forward together." Rosanna is a communist through and through, and she's unashamed of it.
That's how we communists work. This is how you build that movement that's going to be the massive movement that we need to topple capitalism.
It's not a coincidence that this just so happens to be Kamala Harris's campaign slogan, nor did she plagiarize it from the Communist Party. Communists have long acted as the kind of ideological undergird of the Democrat Party here in the United States, and Kamala Harris is just a continuation of that.
Together! Together we'll move forward.
Again, for the past decade, communists have been giving speeches all over the country where they have the banner, "We're not going back," plastered behind them.
Chicago has produced more outstanding communist leaders maybe than any other place around in a lot of ways.
So this begs a question. Do you continue to pretend that Kamala Harris is not influenced by communist ideology, choosing instead to blindly accept the Marxian policies that she's pushing forward? Or do you choose not to be the idiot they think you are?
I didn't say it, but he did. And he shows you where you can go find the information. But for those of you who won't believe it, will you go look for yourselves? I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. You just get pissed off and you just go, but still. That's my slogan. That's my slogan. Her slogan is, "We're not going back, together forward." Mine is, "Yeah, but still." Just the way it is, folks. Just the way it is. Here's another one. Maybe you'll enjoy this. This is her thoughts on prison convicts. She thinks that they should have the right to vote. She thinks that it's really a good thing. We should be considering that just because they're in prison and just for whatever, for murders or, robberies or whatever, that they're still people too. They should have the right to vote. Here, check it out.
Take it seriously.
But people who are convicted in prison, like the Boston Marathon bomber, on death row, people who are convicted of sexual assault, they should be able to vote?
I think we should have that conversation.
What?
Okay.
Did she really just say that? This woman just said we should have a conversation about the Boston bombers being able to vote. Not only them, but terrorists. How did we get here? No, seriously, America. How did we get here? The only conversation we should be having is how she got in a place of being in the race to become president. Somebody that can say something so outlandish on TV should not be in the position that she's in. Now we see why there's so many immigrants just crossing the border. Because of the administration that we're under right now, they don't care. Clearly, when you have somebody saying that the Boston bombers should be able to vote, clearly they don't care about who enters into this country. These would be the same people that take away the American flag. These would be the same people that try to take away your freedom of speech. And y'all just think it's la-la and dandelions right now. Yeah, okay, I'm telling you, if you let this person in office, you are stepping into judgment. May the Lord give us all light. Amen.
Amen. Truth. But those are her words. Even Don Lemon, and I don't like that guy. I think he's a conniver. Even he was like floored, going, seriously? The Boston bomber, you're going to let him... Like, the last time I checked, when you're in prison, you lose your rights as a human being because, you're not treated inhumanely, but you just lost your rights because you're bad, really bad. You murdered people. But we want you to vote for in our country. It's just stupidity. It's like, what are you thinking? Her father, again, was a professor, and he was a Marxist. Basically, communist. When you grow up, you're influenced by all that. I mean, I'm Greek. I grew up, got a huge Greek heritage. I learn things, how to speak it, how to understand it. Although it's kind of here and there nowadays, I don't pride. But the bottom line is you kind of take in what you know. If you're brought up to hate, like they do in the Middle East, hate Americans, not all, just the extremists, you're going to hate Americans. You don't know why, but they're telling you why you should hate Americans, even though you've never really experienced that. Just the way it is. But, those are her words. Again, it's not somebody saying she said it. She said it. You don't believe me? This is hot topic right now. It's as of even today. She's bragging about, because Gavin Newsom passed a bill. Our governor in California passed a bill to allow prisoners that need transitional sex changes to have sex changes paid for by you and me, because they want a sex change, because they deserve the right to have a sex change. It's like you can't afford to go to the hospital for something that's wrong with you, but they can get everything paid for, no problem. It's insanity. Here, don't believe me? Listen to her. Here you go.
When I was Attorney General, I learned that the California Department of Corrections, which was a client of mine, I didn't get to choose my clients.
Right. A client of the Attorney General.
A client of the Attorney General,
Right.
of the Office of Attorney General, that they were standing in the way of surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. And there was a specific case. And when I learned about the case, I worked behind the scenes to not only make sure that that transgender woman got the services she was deserving. So it wasn't only about that case. I made sure that they changed the policy in the state of California so that every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access to the medical care that they desired and need. And I believe it was not only, I know it was historic in California, but I believe actually it may have been one of the first, if not the first in the country, where I pushed for that policy in a Department of Correction.
The stupidity runs deep. This is an elected surgery. Okay, let's say the guy's got mental problems, okay, or whatever, or thinks, felt like he needs to be a woman since he was a child, or whatever the reason. It's not life-threatening. It's not heart surgery. It's not, your appendix has to come out. You're in jail. Well, we got to take care of it because it ruptured. We're going to take care of it. This is a gender reassignment surgery. That's like, hey, I want some breast implants so I can feel more womanly. Okay. No problem, prisoner. What else? What's next? I know women with breast cancer who are struggling to pay their bills, struggling to go and be able, they have to get, they have to go through the system, and they have to be, say, okay, yeah, you can do it. And meanwhile, they have breast cancer and they're waiting to try and see if they can be taken care of medically. But yet, you got a prisoner in jail that wants to be a woman because, then he's going to get put in a woman's prison after that. And you know what's going to happen. You know exactly what's going to happen. He may get breast implants, but he's still got everything working downstairs. And since he says he's a woman, well, then we have to trust his word for it. So we're going to send him to a woman's prison instead of a guy's prison. Like, which one would you rather be in? It's just, I don't have to tell you. I think you can figure this out, right? But again, I'm going to make this point. These aren't my words. These are her words. Your current candidate for president. This is what she's worried about. Never mind you and your groceries and jobs and houses. And, well, we'll get to the houses part too, because everything's a gimmick and no real way through it. Wars, everything else. But we're worried about gender-affirming care for convicted killers. Oh, before I forget, because this is the hot topic, because I think in Michigan, the governor just approved that also. And I don't know if this is the prisoner from Michigan or the one in California, but this is a guy right here. This is a guy who strangled an 11-month-old infant baby. And now this person wants a sex change, so to speak. I don't know what the extent. Again, he might just get boobs and then get transferred to a woman's prison. This piece of crap right here murdered an 11-month-old child. He strangled the child to death. And now we're going to, yeah, whatever you need, dude. Tattoo face dude. Whatever you need. He should be strangled to death. But this person has been granted surgery, a gender changing, whatever that's going to include, at your expense. Let that sink in. Your money is paying for that crap. You may have people in your family that need medical attention. It's hard to go to the doctor. It's expensive. Not everybody has insurance. Even when you have insurance, the co-pays, everything. And we're paying for all these people. Don't get me started on the border, how we're giving free health care to 20 million new illegal immigrants. While we, you, us, we the people, can't get the medical care that's needed. Or if you do, you have to go through 8 million red tape paperwork to get approved. They just walk right in. Here you go. If you can speak the language, now they need translators for all the different languages. Pay attention. This is her words, not mine. I'm just bringing them out there. So you can get mad at me for bringing you what she says. That's up to you. It just bothers me. It really does. Because I know the struggle. I see it every day and everybody, because again, it's real. The struggle is real. But here we go. But that's what she's worried about right now. That's what she's talking about. So we need to. That's why you should put her in office, so we can pay for all that bullshit. The other day, Trump goes out and has his rallies with tens of thousands of people, and she had a town hall that was staged together by her friend Oprah. And the look on Oprah's face, I think even Oprah can't even act as well as she used to. I think Oprah's time has passed. It's time for her to just go enjoy your life. She donated $150 million. Talking about Oprah. She donated $150 million to the Kamala Harris campaign. What did she do for her residents and the people that she lives with on Maui? She made videos asking people to donate, and she threw some crumbs. Not very much. It's a messed up world, people. And why? Because it's all about power. It's all about control. We are ants to these people. We mean nothing to these people. And Oprah's shtick is the same old shit. Kamala! She got that like she used to on her show and all that. Give it up for Diddy! Old, done. You're lucky you have what you have. She's got more. She could feed nations with her money. But there's some stuff going down. I'm telling you, I'd love to see the truth come out, and she's got her hands. She's waist high up to her neck in it from her past. There's some fishy shit going on. But either way, here's Kamala Harris on this town hall. And I've never heard anybody say so much and say nothing. But you decide.
And this is a moment where we can and must come together as Americans, understanding we have so much more in common than what separates us. Let's come together with the character that we are so proud of about who we are, which is we are an optimistic people. We are an optimistic people. Americans, by character, are people who have dreams and ambitions and aspirations. We believe in what is possible. We believe in what can be. And we believe in fighting for that. That's how we came into being. Because the people before us understood that one of the greatest expressions for the love of our country, one of the greatest expressions of patriotism is to fight for the ideals of who we are.
I don't remember fighting for who I am. I'm having to fight for who I am. I don't think you guys are either. Fighting for what can be. You know, we're all striving to be every day. I don't know many people, except like people who are out on the streets and have, you know, they're hopeless, unfortunately, drug addicts, and they feel like they got nothing to live for. I feel like I have something to live for every single day, and I know you do too. You want better. So she's just regurgitating, I don't want to say word salad because it's so wore out, but I never even knew what word salad was until I had this one guest that mentioned it a couple of years ago. But it's just bullshit. It's just repetitive, just nonsense. She said nothing. And even the look on Oprah's face is like, who knows what's going on in Oprah's head going, oh my God, how am I going to save this? She's sitting there going, yeah. I don't think even Oprah can save that shit. Just nonsense. Nonsense. She's not a leader, folks. I'm sorry. She's put there because they want somebody to be a figurehead, a puppet, while other people just start keeping the war going, all the money makers for them. And on top of it, I don't know if you've heard the rumors, but I've heard tons of rumors and seen it, that she's half crocked half the time. She's drunk. She's got a big buzz going on. Don't believe me? Again, the videos are out there. I'm going to play you just a few short seconds of one of her. And I know what the sound of, hey, I'm lit, looks like and sounds like. And this is one of those examples. Here's her talking to who knows who she's talking to, but she's a freaking vice president giving a speech right now. This wasn't like a charity benefit or one of those things with the news media, the host, where they all roast each other or something like that. This is the real deal, and she's crocked. She's not falling over or nothing, but just look at the body language and listen to the voice. You're welcome.
You know, on the other side of my, the other folks, Trump and his running mate. And they'll talk about, oh, well, yeah, but I do believe in the exception to save the mother's life. Okay, all right, let's break that down, shall we? Let's break that down.
Killing me. You can watch it again later, but I'm telling you, she's friggin' lit. Slurring, the body language. She's lit. And the stories I hear, she's always like, the only time she was pretty straight was that last debate. She was straight as a board. She had to be. But a lot of people, she's had a 92% rate of her people that work for her quitting. They said she's impossible. Don't believe me. It's all out there. All that information's out there. I know the orange man's probably hard to work with too, because he's push. He wants results. You don't give him results, you're fired. These people quit because they can't deal with her. Anyway, we were talking earlier about some of you people are going to go, well, they're going to give us a $25,000 tax credit and, incentive and down payment and all this kind of stuff. There's pros and cons. What they don't tell you is what I'm about to show you. And this, again, is the old millennial from TikTok. I like this guy. But here's what really is going to happen with this tax credit should we be sad enough to where they actually do it, because it's not going to help. It's actually worse, but it just sounds good. But again, don't believe me. Here's the facts. Check it out.
The fact that there are shitloads of people who are excited about Kamala Harris's proposal for $25,000 in down payment assistance to first-time home buyers proves to me that financial literacy in America is fucked. Now, I'm going to make a few videos on this topic because the proposal is so fucking stupid. I could make a Netflix documentary out of it. So I'm not going to be capable of putting it all in one video. But for the purposes of this video, let me explain to you why this is all smoke and mirrors to hide the fact of how fucked the economy's got under Biden. Y'all got to understand that a $25,000 tax credit with the current state of the economy doesn't help a fucking thing. Like, the best price you're going to get for a single family home under this economy is $325,000. Now, I recognize that's $75,000 below the current median house price in America, but it's actually a more realistic number of what you're going to encounter in the market. Now, let's compare what it would look like if you bought a home under this economy and actually got that $25,000 tax credit. And we're going to compare that to if you bought a home under the Trump economy and didn't get the tax credit. You have a home that's $325,000. You get a $25,000 tax credit. The home is now $300,000. However, your interest rate is 7%, making your mortgage payment $1,991 a month. Now, if you were to buy that same $325,000 home under the Trump economy, you wouldn't get the $25,000 tax credit, so the price of the home stays at $325,000. But because the average interest rate under the Trump economy was 3.25%, the payment is only about $1,400. So right off the bat, you're saving $500 a month. Would having an extra $500 instead of a $25,000 tax credit be beneficial to you? Or are you just going to be bribed by the upfront promise of $25K? Because if we play that out over 10, 20, and 30 years, under the Trump economy, without the tax credit, you would have an additional $6,000 per year. So over 10 years, that's an additional $60,000 that would be in your pocket, in your bank account. For 20 years, that's $120,000. And over 30 years, that's $180,000. And instead of voting for the guy that's going to try to get us back to that economy, you're thinking about voting for the candidate who brought us the current economy and is willing to give you $25,000 in down payment assistance. Do you understand how fucking stupid you'd have to be to think that's a good decision?
Do you? I know that was a lot to take in, but again, you could rewind the show when the show is over and you can watch these things over again because the math is correct. But it just sounds good. Good salespeople. Because you think about the here and now, but you don't look at the long term, and you have to go long term. Do you know? Hang on a second. Did I tell you I love you guys? And thank you for watching, paying attention. Share, share, share. I need you to help us spread the word. We're in dire straits. Salute. Ooh. That'll put lead in your pencil. Do you know, this kills me. Out of all the endorsements you can get, I've never even heard of this one, these people being an endorsee of a candidate, of a presidential candidate. Out of all the people you could get to endorse you, do you know that the IRS just put their stamp of approval on Kamala Harris? The IRS, the people everybody hates, is approving Kamala Harris for presidency. What does that tell you? I mean, think about it. When have you ever heard, you've heard the Teamsters, they support the Democrats except for this year. This is the first year in over 30 years, I think 40 years. They're not approving, they're not endorsing the Democratic Party. It's that crazy. They've gone off the rails that much to where the Teamsters, one of the biggest unions in the whole United States, says, you know what? We're not backing the Democrats this year. We're not. So to add insult to injury, the IRS says, well, we support Kamala Harris. The IRS. That makes me feel good. Because they love the 87,000 more employees that got hired so they can go after your money. Counting your tips. No taxes on tips? Yeah, let her. I believe Trump. I don't believe her. I don't. I'm sorry. And you can say, well, Trump's a liar. We'll see. I don't know why you think you're going to be that much better off. I just don't. Let the man do his job. and just don't worry about his roughness around the edges or whatever that's bothering you, because it damn sure can't be that he put you in the hole. It's impossible. Because I liked $1.99 a gallon gas. I really did. I liked 2.1% interest on a house. I liked groceries being somewhat reasonable, especially if you have a family. How the hell you guys do it, and yet you're still going to stick with that plan this past 4 years? Yeah, but still, she's going to fix it. It's like, what's there to fix? They're in office right now. They created it. You're not going to fix it. It's going to tell you we're going to fix it. Just get me elected and then screw you. Sorry, we're working on it. We're working on it. We're working on it. Working on it. Tomorrow. Again, I do this because I love you guys. I love people. I don't want to see anybody hurting. I don't. I really don't. But you know, we're dealing with a generation that, again, when the whole pandemic kicked in, kids couldn't go to school. Kids they just haven't learned what they're supposed to learn. I'm going to just give you a taste of it real quick. But these are the ones who are protesting for, gays for Palestine and all this crap, because they don't know any better. They're just kids, but they think they do. But you're not helping them by letting them do that. Nobody's trying to educate them. There's a guy named Justin Awad. He goes around, I think he's in New York, I think. At least it looks like he is. And he talks to all these kids, asking them the simplest of questions. He shows them the picture of a clock, and it's like, what time is it? Because they've learned digital time. They don't know where the big hand and the little, and these are teenagers or in their early 20s, blowing my mind. It's like, you can't be that stupid. But if you don't teach them, how are they supposed to know? And these are the people that they're preying on. They're just brainwashing them, telling them this is what you need to do, this is what you need to like. Half of them don't know the difference anyway, and most of them won't vote. But the ones that do, that's scary, because they don't know anything. They're just doing it because they're told to do it. But here's real quick. This is Justin Awad showing you of our youth. This is a really good example. I did a show and I had tons of these videos. It's just mind-boggling. Thank God my child is above that and knows what's up and what is down. Because it's just mind-boggling. You don't even know the difference between a town and a state. You live in the state and you don't even know it. Why should I tell you? I'll let him tell you. There you go.
What's 3 times 3 times 3?
Is it 9 exponent or multiplication?
Yes. Can you name 5 states?
Staten Island. States. Damn. Brooklyn. Nah, I don't even know.
4 more states. Any states you want.
New York.
You got 2.
Manhattan. I don't know.
3.
That's
2 more.
State.
Yeah.
Oh.
2 more.
Queens. I don't know if that's a state. I don't know.
4. 1 more.
Let me
state.
The Bronx.
5. Nice. If you owe somebody $11.50 and you give them a $20 bill, how much money do they give you back?
I think 10, because there's tax, I think.
Do you know what's the difference between Mexico and New Mexico? Are they the same thing?
Maybe, I don't know. I think.
Yes.
Sorry. I was doing something. Forgot. Hey, I need to be back on the air. Okay, some of it was math. I know kids that work at these fast food restaurants, they depend on the cash register to tell them how much to give back because they can't use their own head. Okay, but we have 50 states. Growing up as a child, they teach you that. Now, I'm sure you'll forget a few, but you can't name 5 friggin' states. You don't even know the difference between a state and a city. And this is just a scratch. I had videos. The questions that were like, you can't be that stupid. But this is what's going on. And our youth is going to be our next generation of, people running this world. That scares the shit out of me. Maybe I won't be around for that, but my child will be. And I told her, I said, you need to be on top of things because there's a lot of people that don't have a clue in this world. And this is where we're living. And this is how we're living. And it is definitely being shown and seen. It's before your eyes every single day. Don't just say, oh, well, say something, do something. Otherwise, we're going to go down in flames. We're pretty much past the halfway course right now. Still a chance to turn it around. All right, people? I hope you got something out of this. I really do. I don't do this for my own health. I don't expect everybody to be at the same level, the same page. That's why I have faith in you. If you're willing to watch, possibly turn around and start getting a clue and getting the message. 10 years ago, I was probably the same person who wasn't paying attention, didn't care, life was okay. But it finally happened for me. That's why I stick with you and go, you know what? This needs to happen for you too. Just walking by and letting things happen until they lead us all to slaughter or push us all off the cliff, it's going to be too late. Again, if you have children, family, you care about them, you'll pay attention. Make the smart decision when it's time to vote. Don't let your feelings get in the way, and don't buy into all the baloney that they're telling you. They impregnate the hatred. They want you to hate. They want to keep us divided. It's sad but true. Again, it's not just me saying this. You heard it from their mouths, what they believe in. Both of them. So you decide. In the meantime, my name is Peter G. I want to thank everybody for watching Life with Peter G, the Peter G Show, every Wednesday, like clockwork, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. on the East Coast. God willing. We're at the end of the month. We're going into October next week. Believe it or not, the year is almost gone. We're 40-something days from the election. This is important stuff. This is why I've been doing this. Love me or hate me, whatever. But I thank you for watching. Please share, share, share. Subscribe and follow. It's free. It doesn't hurt anything. Help me bring other things. I'm not going to be on this forever, but it is important. Next week, I'm thinking about having call-in month, and I'll just sit here. Nobody ever calls. But I keep threatening to do it, and I don't know. I just might do it and hear what you have to say. Besides the comments and things like that, thank you. And the emails I get. You know, it's hard to catch people live when I'm live. You know, I'm just barely scratching the surface, especially when I have platforms that throttle me down. It's kind of hard. But still, it only takes a few calls per show to make a great show, to voice your opinion. I don't care if you agree with me or disagree with me. In fact, I never get people that disagree, and that kind of sucks because I'd love to talk to the haters. Again, I don't dislike you. I just want to know and see, you know, from your point of view on how you tick. So I could try to understand. Maybe I'm misinformed. Whatever. That's it. I love you guys. I do. I do. And I want to remind you, it is a tough world out there. It really is a tough world out there. People are going through hard times every single day. I see it I follow Facebook. Facebook is my gauge. I see from the happiest to the, my God, I don't know what I'm going to do next tomorrow. It's so hard to live. And it saddens me. I don't want to see people going through this because people really tell you like it is on Facebook. They want to be heard. Prayers for my mother. Showing you this salad that I'm eating. They want to be heard. They want to be validated. And that's what I want to bring to this show. I want people to be heard and validated because we're all human beings. I don't think anybody ever got up one day and goes, I can't wait so I can grow up and become a crack addict. So I can live on the streets and just not even know who the hell I am anymore. But it happens. You see it every day. I know when you're driving, people on every corner holding signs, hungry, homeless, will work for beer, whatever. Sucks. You don't know who's telling the truth and who's not. But that's life. So let's try to make the best of it. But again, people push your buttons every day because some people are jealous or life is just hard. It's a bitch. You don't have to be an ass, but you don't have to take a lot of crap from people either. Be kind. Try to remain understanding. All right. That's it. Again, my name is Peter G. Thank you for watching. Share, please. I'll see you next week, and we'll see what we're going to do next week, because I'm staying pretty toasty due to all the news that's going on. I'm not really having a lot of guests on and things like that, but it's all about you. It really is. So I love you, as always, and peace out.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorce that.